Video, it's going to be a bit different as I don't think the customer's going to pay me, which, yeah, as soon as I've turned up to the job site I've realised this and I don't really want to do it, being completely honest, but I'll reveal that at the end. But let's get straight into the action. So customers currently moved property, don't think they're going to be here super long term, but they just want to update a few things, add a few extra sockets, as I'll spin you around now and you'll see exactly what we're working with. So as you can see, they've got all their stuff in here, and all they've got is one single socket there, which is fed off 1.5mm cable off a single socket the other side of the wall, so that needs updating to 2.5. The link, it's on a radial circuit, and then we can come from that. They want another one there. That's an aerial point, but that's boxing for the soil stack, so that works in our favour. And then we're going to put a socket here, and then another socket there, obviously using the zoning, running all the way across horizontally. And then we've got to drill through this existing pillar and put a double socket just there and one there for either side of the bed. Yeah, I'm all prepped, got my velocity work mats down, and there's going to be damages to the walls, even though the customer's freshly painted. But they're just going to retouch it up. But what I have said to the customer is, obviously it's reflected in the price, but we're actually going to bond up the walls and the chases, so then the customers can then just either polyfiller over it or just put a nice little skim over it and then paint it themselves. We are going to do the whole process of basically installing new double sockets into this bedroom. So let's get straight on to step one, which is get all your tools out of the van. Obviously Milwaukee tools we're using, level, we're going to laser level off that box all the way around. And then we are on to step two, which is preparation ticked off. Step number three, safely isolate. So let's get my approved voltage indicator, proven unit, all that, do the sequence of tests and get that proven dead, or as some electricians may use this, what's this? But yeah, let's go and make this dead. That was just a bit of a joke. I did actually use my proper voltage indicator and obviously prove that dead, so I'm happy that's dead now. Gonna get that disconnected, another side of the wall, that 1mm just goes straight through the wall to a 2.5 radial circuit, so I can just put a bit of 2.5, so then it's on the correct cable, and then we'll go from there. So step number three I think we're on now, obviously we've just proved dead, and then step number four is obviously now setting up my laser on the line of that bottom box. We're just going to put in a double socket there, and then we'll laser across and draw on the wall a double socket over there, a double socket over there, a double socket over there, and then we'll get down some dirty work. This is the other side of the wall, so you can see it's a single box again, obviously 2.5 going in and then 1.5 going out. Not ideal really, whoever's done this has been a bit naughty, but I presume there was never a socket the other side of the wall, and someone has done a DIY job and added that in afterwards, because there's Phillips screws, and obviously when this house was built they were still using flatheads, so someone has been some naughty work in here. Next I'm just going to set the laser up. I've put it on a bit of pack out, and I think we're not far off the bottom of that socket there, so that doesn't look too bad. And then what I like to do is just get a rough measurement, see how far the floor's out and that. So it's looking 24 to the bottom. Obviously this isn't a brand new property, so we don't have to worry about regs. And we're not far off 24, it's 23 there, but it does slightly dip down a bit of the carpet, so we're not far off, and it's not far off in line with that aerial point, so we'll go for that. Just going to draw around a box now, just rip that box out, literally just one little screw holding it in. So all I'm going to do now is, got my new galv box, just going to hold that up. With these, I was always taught, I'm just going to check so you can see where the cable goes through there. I was always told, go half and half, so put that in the middle of the existing when you're doing singles to doubles, so then you're not flaking out the edges when you've got to pull the boxes out. So if you do half and half, obviously the new socket you have to cut a bit round so it covers all the excess damage. But here I don't want to do that because the double socket's there back to back, so I don't want to chase a bit of the brick out and then they'd be touching as there's not enough room. So I'm just going to go the old way and just put it there. I've tucked the cable in so then I can fully cover that socket there, and obviously make sure that's level with my little pocket level, and then just draw around that box and get it chopped out. Depth wise there, we probably are just going to have to take a sliver off the block work, but not a lot. So luckily it's dabbed off quite a bit. Now I'm happy with that, and I've used my little pocket level. I'm going to rip that off and just draw around, obviously, the extra bit we need to chop out. So let's just mark that up along the wall. And then we're left with a perfect line there. We can cut along that, cut along that, cut along that with the multi-tool. So let's make some noise. So we're going to be using the Milwaukee multi-tool with some cheap Amazon blades in. So I've got that. I have got some goggles, but I don't need that really for just chopping out plasterboard because it's just airborne dust. However, it is very noisy, so we're going to use ear defenders. Everyone's going to love that, however. So let's comment down below how many times I say however or in this video, because everyone picks that out. But let's get these on, make some noise, and stop waffling. Easy as that, we're done. Oh, you've sunk a bit. I've put you on a chair and you've sunk down a bit. All I've got to do is, that side's perfect where the existing single was, is just chop a little bit out of the block work. But it's literally about 5 to 10 mil, if that, not a lot. So I'll just get the SDS out with the chisel bit, which I've got here. And let's just chip away on a bit. So we've got the Milwaukee SDS with the chisel bit, and I'm just going to literally just go around and just chip a bit off the breeze block. That'll be absolutely perfect. So now what I'm going to do is just have a look at the cavity behind. So there ain't a lot of room there, but I might be able to rod across to a socket here. So I'll mark out that socket, cut that one out, and then yeah, we'll try and rod between the two. I've just quickly replaced the link of 1.5 with 2.5, so that's in and ready. And then I've disconnected it that side, not connected back up this side, and I've plugged in the customer's little friend, which is called Henry. So we are going to be using him to extract all the dust. So let's get all this sucked up, cleaned up, mark out that one, mark out that one, and mark out the other ones, and then basically repeat that process. But it's going to be a bit more difficult, as I'm going to try and rod behind the wall, staying within the zone, rather than damaging it. Let's give our mate Henry a whirl. That'll do. That reminded me of someone else who's good at sucking, but I'll leave you to decide who that was. That's that one drawn out. So same again, I'm going to turn Henry on, set him below, catching all the airborne dust, multi-tool that out, get the rods out. Might not even need the rods, to be fair. It's just a short distance between that and that one. You might be able to throw it straight across. Straight off the back, it's cut out alright. I cut it a bit bigger than the line, just so you can get it in. Otherwise, these little lips on the side of the box always catch and fracture it out. That little bit of chip in there and there will be covered by the socket face, so that's fine. But at least that's now got a little bit of room to play. You can get it nice and level. The only problem we've got straight away is obviously it's not going back enough, so I just need to whip a little bit off of that brick using the SDS. It's absolutely perfect. And let's do that knockout and let's see if we can rod all the way behind. It does get pretty tight here. I can throw the cable behind. If I can, that's going to be an absolute winner, because we can save not damaging all this wall. Grab this bit of 2.5 and then just try and throw it behind, and if that works, saves me a trip to the van for getting the rods. I'm not only good looking, I am good at my job, so I've managed to rod that all the way behind the wall without even the rods, to be fair. Literally just throwing the cable behind. And now we're on to the hard bit, which is getting into this box in here. But I've got a bit of a trick up my sleeve. The trick up my sleeve, which is I'm going to drill from there in the brickwork, and then obviously I'll be able to grab that cable in the boxing as I can access it through this hatch here. And then I can bring the cable in the boxing, because obviously that's a greater depth, more than 50mm, and it's covered by an RCD, so it's fine in that cavity. Round, and obviously it's still within the zones, technically, of going across. So it's still within zones, and then come across here, and then hopefully rod from there to this first one, and then rod from this one across. So if a little bit of luck goes my way for once, we should be able to get across without doing any damage whatsoever. When people ask me, what do I have these massive, great big, stupid drill bits, as they call them, for? Fancy outdoor lights, or doing things like this, where obviously you need to get the drill on the correct angle and be drilling from like here, so it doesn't pop out the wall the other side, and it stays within the brickwork, and then obviously you can fish it from there. So all meg drill bits, absolute lifesaver. Well, that worked, an absolute treat. I'll get the cable through now. Obviously, getting that angle drilling, I did have to just catch the plasterwork a touch here. Like I said, half that will be covered up, and obviously a bit of polyfiller on that is no big stress. But that's a lot better than damaging all of this corner and trying to plaster in the corner right next to a socket, which wouldn't be fun. So I'm going to hoover all the dust out now, put a little bit of a bigger drill bit through so I can get a bigger cable through, poke it through, and I'll put you this side and you can have a look, see what we're working with. After lots of piddling around, and I've accidentally chipped a little bit more there, but a bit of polyfiller, that'll be fine. I've managed to get it round. So as you can see here, we've got enough cable to go to this socket here. So I'm going to turn the laser back on, get this one drawn out, get it cut out, and then hopefully rod from that one back to the boxing. And then really we're cooking on gas, and then hopefully it rods from there to that one, and then I can drill through that wall. And then I think when I get on the other side of the wall, it's an extension, so that might be a different kettle of fish. That one's marked on. Let's get that cut out. A little bit further on, I've re-leveled that box and put a new Appleby one in, as this one was a horrible one, which should never be sold, with horrible back box sides, which are gross and they never sit level. And yeah, Appleby ones for the win. And then got that all the way around. Obviously had to use the long drill bit again, so you are going to get a little bit of damage there, but a bit of polyfiller, job's a good one. And then I've put the laser across, all the way across, and then I've drawn around that box there, so I'm going to cut that one out and then rod from that one to this one. It's a good job on good super rods, saving the day as well. So it's coming out of that one, and then if I take you over here, it's popping out there. So I'm going to attach the cable on, get that pulled across this one, and then have a look at not fastening in the back box and potentially drilling through. But I'm expecting I'm going to have to make a bit of damage probably in that corner there and drill through the wall and patch it up. We're a bit further along, so we've managed to cut that one out, as you can see, and then get the cable all the way behind there, drill behind. This side I've had to create a bit more damage, naturally, because it's no plasterboard no more. It's just straight block, and then just like plastered straight onto the block, so it all just crumbles. But obviously that's fine, it can all be poly-filled, and then obviously the cable's still within the zones, coming straight across through the wall. So now we're at this stage. I'm debating whether to put another socket over there, but then ultimately that means channeling out a lot and a lot of patching up. So I think I'm just going to leave it as that one, and then just fill that one little chase there. All that's left now is fasten and strip the cables back, and then obviously fit the boxes into place. Scratch that last clip where I said I'm not going to put a socket over there. I ended up doing it, and I ended up bonding it tonight. So it's setting, and I'm going to come back another night and put the sockets on ready for the customer. So in the end, turned out alright. We've got a socket there, obviously well within zones, and then it comes round through the wall there into that zone, into that socket, still within zones, across to that one, round the saw stack, into that one, and into that one. So it's a nice little radial circuit we've extended there, all tidied up. That's a Cat 6 internet cable ready. So new box on the aerial, everything's now nice and level. Only thing really is just a little bit of filling on a few where I had to use the drill bit, and then obviously just sand and paint that, or put a bit of polyfiller over the finished level. Or I do have this like thin skims coat in the bag stuff, so I might just give it one little coat over that, sand it down, then obviously you can paint it. So that's been me installing 5 or 6 new double sockets in a bedroom, and a bit how to do it, a bit different, trying not to make too much damage. Obviously there was nothing I could have done this side of the pillar to not make damage unless I'd done it surface, but obviously no one wants it on surface on show really, unless it's in like a garage or a shed. So I did what had to be done and bonded it back up, so it's all ready. But I will just reveal as well, this is my new house, it's not actually a customer's, so it's okay.